is the most passion that you'll ever hear the word sausages be sung. Jesus. Hey boys, welcome to Circle of Tone, and today we have the band that all the neckbeards pretend to hate, Killswitch Engage. Killswitch Engage is like the Nickelback for the black metal crew, where they all pretend not to like it. We're going to find out, my lovelies, something which has been raging on old school guitar forums for years. Was it a dragon or was it a cobra that was used on this album? And I have a little insight that might surprise you, but if you like these types of vids, please subscribe, all that shit that nobody ever does. But please, I'm begging you, my lovelies. Subscribe, just fucking do it right now. Do. I'll tell you what I used later on, but the amps that they use on practically all the album was a 5150 and a dragon, a famous dragon, not the cobra. The cobra was used on the album, but only on one song. It was like 3 months. They slogged so hard on this album, and the famous dragon could not handle it. And to be honest, back in the day, I've owned Famouses. They were absolute pieces of shit. They used to break down all the time. Mine didn't. I actually traded I had a Cobra. There's an old video of mine, really old, which you can hear the Cobra on, really rough. And I basically did the difference between 1x12, 2x12, and a 4x12 with things like vintage 30s, with old warehouse speakers, with greenbacks, things like that. You say greenback speaker could literally mean dozens of different speakers. There's been dozens of different greenbacks, and none of them sound anything like each other. That's why you come here, because it's a Circle of Tone, bitch. We don't mess around. On End of Heartache, that was a Dragon and a 5150. They were also boosted by Maxon ODs, the 808s. Basically, the Maxon tube screamers back then. And a Dragon basically is a Mesa clone, but with different tubes. It's tweaked a little bit, but essentially it's the same thing. So that's what I used. I used a 5150 clone, and I used a Dragon clone. So a clone of a clone. So I used my Mesa Boogie Recto. I think it was a Recto clone as well. So who knows? Who knows what these... all these amps are all built on the same thing, where people are saying, like, Mesa ripped off, this, but they ripped off that, and, Marshall and things like that. So, it's all one long line of everyone stealing from Fender at the end of the day, and then adding little bits on, you know what I mean? Like the Bluesbreaker was a Fender. I'm not even sure if it was Adam D that tracked it, or Strozel. I believe Strozel actually wrote End of Heartache, and he joked that it was the closest thing they've ever done to be a ballad. And the singer, Jones, he said, I'm going to sing clean through this whole thing because I hear a vibe to this song. And that's how the End of Heartache came. And I remember being a bit confused because there was 2 videos for it. There was 2 versions, and it was all like up and down. I remember seeing it in the theater, the Resident Evil soundtrack, and fuck me, that sounded big in the theater. It was like the hairs were raising up. I was like, what the fuck is this? And what I didn't know is that it was pretty much nailing the birth of metalcore. Because metalcore was around prior to that, but this really put it on the map, and nobody was saying metalcore. Even when this album came out, you won't find journalists mentioning the word metalcore. Let me see what a journalist called this album when it came out, right? And this is a clued up metal journalist. Killswitch's signature brand of hyperkinetic neo-Scandinavian thrash. Neo-Scandinavian thrash. So a lot of Scandinavian bands started the melodeath, and that was influenced by thrash. So I think that's where he's getting that from. And melodeath really did become metalcore, just with more strings. So there's a lot of bullshit that comes around claiming that, you know, Cro-Mags and people like that started metalcore, but it's not really. It was literally these bands in the really early zeros that started off metalcore. And come at me, bro. And if you want to come at me, bro, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. You tell me a journalist that said the word metalcore in the 90s. You tell they weren't, right? Even on the forums, we weren't calling it metalcore. It was like after this album, really, we started calling it metalcore. Metalcore. And much like when I claim on other bands, right, the biggest proponents of a genre, nobody's going to argue that Killswitch were not like one of the big metalcore originators. Like Korn was the first new metal, Metallica the first thrash, and Slayer. Nobody ever got better than them, you know. And again, bands have been chasing this and spinning their wheels trying to copy it, and it never gets eclipsed, you know, because they worked on this for 3 months. Adam D produced it along with I believe Andy Sneap mixed and mastered it. I don't think Andy Sneap engineered it, but you know, a perfect mix. It's a perfect mix. And believe it or not, Andy Sneap, I think on the theatre version of End of Heartache, I think he actually played on it. He sneaked a few tracks of his on there, which is interesting. So the recording session, 3 months, all of them were exhausted. The other guitarist, Adam D, like pushed him. He said, "Are you serious? You want me to do another take?" And he was like, "Yeah." Adam was like, "Yes, do another one. It has to be perfect." When he saw Adam D do his tracks, he was like, "Oh shit, he's just as strong on himself as he was on me." When he was going through, you know, again, like a Russian, you know, ballet trainer. More again. Jones, the singer, he was the same. He's like, he's never sung so much in all of his previous bands. He was in a pretty good hardcore crossover band, I think they were, before Killswitch Engage. And you can find him now singing with Jared Deans. He's got a new project, and I believe there's a second album coming out soon. So yeah, the recording sessions were haunted. There was all sorts of weird shit going on during the recording of this. The drummer who recorded this, and I'm not sure how much is actual drums, and you know, that's one of the starts of modern production. It'd be interesting to see if this was done obviously on computers. I think that's when it started, you know, the 2000s is when the DAW really kicked in. But I'd be interested to know if it actually went to tape at all at any point. Maybe with the Sneap aspect of it, maybe he went to tape. But this was one of the big ones. There's a few albums during this period from Nevermore, from who happened to be Andy Sneap as well, from Nevermore, from Killswitch, from some of the other metalcore bands coming from Scandinavia, which is what I think this guy was referring to before it was named, like In Flames and people like that. And this started the whole modern era and Meshuggah of modern guitar recordings, which took interest from the public down and interest from only really other musicians are propping up the scene these days. Thanks to my patrons of Tone. You guys are awesome. Richard P. and Co. We have Eric M. We have Marcos. And we have one which I forgot to shout out, and I'm sorry, bro. But Aurora's Peak, bro. Thanks for your dollar. It only takes $1 a month. And if there's any other bands that you want me to have a crack at, let me know in the comments. And there's also a lot of information in the description about the other stuff they've used over the years, including another album. I think it's a Soldano on that. So that's it. Nice and to the point. Metalcore peaked and then went downhill. And I don't think anyone can argue that there's a better album than End of Heartache in the metalcore genre. If you think that there is one, put it in the comments and I'll give it a listen. Have a good one, boys. I hope you had a nice Christmas, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Circle of Tone.